The aspects of human life that make our species unique depend in numerous ways on the special human ability to use language. For anyone who thinks it is important to understand what humans are like and why, a scientific grasp of the capacity for language is essential. Linguistics is the scientific field devoted to achieving that understanding. What exactly do I mean by a language? In a sense, the whole discipline of linguistics is devoted to a long-term project of properly answering that question by giving a full theory of the nature of the human languages, the things they share, and the ways in which they differ. But as a rough starting point, human languages are structured systems for making articulated thoughts fully explicit both internally and externally, and linguistics studies all components of such systems, together with the ways in which they are used. It is extremely common for people to take language and communication to be the same thing. They should never be equated, however. They are clearly distinct in that each is found in the absence of the other. Most communication, even between humans, has nothing to do with language. Think of frowning, winking, shrugging, grinning, eyebrow raising, or glaring. Some of it isn't even voluntary, limping, trembling. On the other hand, lots of the use we make of language involves no communication in any reasonable sense. Think of someone silently planning a speech that they will never give, or checking a document for wording errors, or silently reflecting on whether likely has exactly the same meaning as probable. All animals communicate, but only humans have languages in the strict sense of the term. That doesn't mean I disapprove of talk about the language of music, flowers, art, or architecture. It's just that when we consider the basic facts, these metaphorical extensions of the term language should be ignored, because they will only encourage confusion. Let me get just a little more specific about languages. The systems that linguists study connect virtually unlimited numbers of sentence meanings, arbitrarily complex thoughts, to external realizations, in a medium-independent way. A given sentence can be presented in either written or spoken form. Thus, the subject matter for linguists extends from the study of the ways speech sounds are produced to the study of how meaningful sentences are used in context to convey implicit meaning. Sentences can instruct or query or signal emotion, and crucially, they can express claims, either true or false, and can be used not only externally, for communication or easing of social interaction, but also internally, for reasoning. Consider a specific sentence like everybody seems to be leaving. You don't need to utter it aloud, you can just think it. You can also privately and internally figure out its logical consequences. For example, it implies that apparently nobody is planning to stay. It could provide grounds for thinking that pretty soon the place will be empty. You could make it audible by saying it out loud, or make it visible by writing it down, but you don't have to. It's still a sentence. And crucially, you can do any or all of these things without being in a situation where the statement could conceivably be true. The sentence doesn't just pop up involuntarily in your mouth when everyone does actually seem to be leaving. You can consider the sentence and grasp its meaning whether it's true right now or not. Other animals show no signs of being able to do anything of this sort. Various cases have been reported of animals that produce warning cries when predators are spotted, and make different sounds for different types of predators. One call for a snake on the ground, another for an eagle in the air, and so on. But they produce these calls involuntarily when a predator is noticed, and they never use the calls for anything else. It is nothing like what you, as a speaker of a human language, can do. You can wonder aloud about who would win in a fight between an eagle and a snake, without there being any eagles or snakes nearby. No monkey can do that. That's not to say animals are unintelligent. Dogs, in particular, have a wonderful social ability. More than any other animal, they use their intelligence to attempt to figure out what we are paying attention to and what we might be planning. They have admirable memory powers, too. A border collie named Rico was trained to fetch any of about 200 specific named toys on command. In fact, if given an unfamiliar name, fetch the glimp, Rico would run and fetch a previously unnamed toy, if there was one, assuming the new word was its name. However, this was entirely the result of intensive training and supplying of rewards. Rico only responded to the owner's fetch commands, and responded solely by running to fetch the named toy. Everything was task-based and in the moment. Humans can use a word like sock in other ways than by running to the bedroom to fetch one in order to get a snack as a reward. Complaining about having lost one, for example, or asking whether it's time to go out and buy some. That kind of word use is the province of humans alone, and it forms just one small part of the array of human abilities that linguistics seeks to understand.